So today, this is a video I've been thinking about doing for a while, just haven't done one. And I was kind of catching up on my YouTube subscribers, or subscriptions I mean, and was watching both 4Wedge and Bug Moto both came out with a video that were kind of related to safety and thoughts on those kind of items. Bugs was more of a, hey, if you're in a wreck, what would you do after the fact kind of thing. But so I've been wanting to kind of do a video on this safety and what I kind of do when I ride, and things I follow and things I've kind of learned. One from taking the rider's course, and then others just kind of reading stuff online and watching videos. So we start off kind of with with beginner riders. So someone like me, I got my endorsement last August. I think my actual endorsement on my license itself in September, and bought this scooter around the same time. So I've been riding, what, maybe like 10 months now, something like that. But I did take a beginner's riding course from my state, and that's how I got my endorsement. So basically you go through a course it's like the first half of one day is like some classroom stuff, and then you do like a day and a half of riding in a controlled parking lot environment with cones and stuff like that. And then at the end of the second riding day, you do your test there, basically, instead of having to go to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles like you would have to do in Ohio and just take it. The basic rider's course is not required. It's kind of, it gets you going on a motorcycle if you haven't ever ridden one, and then allows you to kind of, do that test when you're kind of practiced up and familiar with the rules and stuff. So but what I would say is, when you're a new rider, the first thing you want to do, or one of the first things you want to do, is get familiar with whatever you're riding. I think this goes for anybody that gets a new bike also, but if you've definitely never ridden before, and you have a bike, ride it around your neighborhood. Ride it around, where it's 35 to 40 mile an hour tops, and get familiar with stopping, and if you're riding a motorcycle, clutch and turn signals and turning them off, and maybe take it to a local parking lot and do some slow maneuvering drills like figure eights or something inside the parking lines. I still do that myself. And consider taking a rider's course. I enjoyed mine. I think I learned some things I didn't think I would learn. Instructors have knowledge, at least ours did, and just years of riding and scenarios. Like, they work through scenarios of how you would handle a situation. And they'll teach you, I don't know, in your state, and this may be different, but they'll teach you a process that they call SIPDE, 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 and it stands for Search, Identify, Predict, Decide, and Execute. So basically, it's a self-awareness kind of acronym. You want to scan 20 to 30 seconds ahead of yourself for anything that might scan or search. I think of it as scan myself, but scan ahead, scan behind you, in your mirrors, and also turning your head. Don't rely on your mirrors. They have blind spots just like car mirrors do. Predict what you might do. Like, try to identify those situations, like this car on the left of me. Is it going to pull out in front of me? Where would I go if that happened? And decide that. Get an exit strategy, or get a plan of attack of what you're going to do, and then you execute that. You know, the other big thing I will say is leave room in front, or try to leave room behind you, but definitely in front of you, leave room. More room you have, the more time you have to react, the more space you have to maneuver. And keep in mind that we as riders have basically 3 lanes inside a car lane: left, center, right. And so you want to try to utilize those lanes as much as you can. Like right now, I would not be over on the left, because I would have nowhere to go. Traffic's coming at me. So I kind of stay over here, and I could, if someone was going to come up on me really fast from behind, I would be able to get over here to the right and get out of the way. Also, don't get too close. Give yourself enough room and cushion that you can move around. But also make yourself visible to the driver ahead of you. And always keeping tabs on what the person behind you is doing so you don't get crunched. Marysville right now is a mess. There is construction everywhere and traffic is just crazy. So I'm just going to turn and get out of this. I had planned to go through town, but so anyway, search, identify, predict, determine, or decide, and execute. So yeah, try to utilize your lanes. When I'm coming down the street, I typically will stay more on the right side of the lane. If cars are kind of towards the middle, and change lanes accordingly to keep that visibility. You want to be able to make sure that, you know, people can see you. Like when I'm going fast on the highway, I'll typically stay to the right also. So that those cars looking around to pass can kind of see me better. But there are times where you want to be maybe in the left lane to see, you know, what's coming up, or you need to dodge something or whatever. So typically they say to kind of be careful about the center lane, because that's typically where oil from cars drips and can become pretty slick, especially when raining. But the idea here is give yourself room, give yourself enough time to maneuver. Use that acronym to kind of give yourself a way to get out, or a way to avoid a situation if one comes up. And also you should be giving yourself, you know, ample time based on your speed, scanning ahead. So if you don't know what that is, kind of time yourself. So pick a point you drive by, count the seconds out, and you know, if you're going highway speeds, 20-30 seconds is good. You might get away with 10 if you're going a little slower, but you definitely want to scan ahead and keep an eye on your rearview mirrors and looking back behind you. You just never know what people are going to do. Now, all that being said, I mean, there are things like you're not going to be able to control a deer coming out in front of you. You're not going to be able to control a raccoon coming right out the side of the road. You know, those things you just got to be able to scan for and try to react as best you can. And I would say the best thing you can do for that is to get a parking lot, get up to some decent speed and practice that. Practice like it's happening. Practice that you can swerve and slow down when you need to. You know, practice it like it's a real life thing. You could even set up some obstacles in your way if you wanted to, something that's not too dangerous, and just practice swerving around them. You'll do a lot of this. You will do a lot of this when you take a rider's course. They'll do swerving techniques, and one of the tests that you have to do is swerving in and out of cones that I think are 10 feet apart. I'm trying to remember that, but it's always good to practice on your own and do that, you know, at least weekly. I would say go out every time you're riding, just go to a parking lot and just practice slow maneuvering or swerving or stopping at certain speeds on your own, like when you can, and then you're ready for it when it kind of happens to you, and you are familiar with how your bike brakes, and you know what that looks like when it's time to use it, right? That's important. I think it's really important to get to know how your bike handles and what it can, you know, what it's capable of as far as stopping and things go. The other thing I would say is don't ride beyond your limits, right? Even if you're riding with friends and they want to go fast, do your own speed. Don't try to push it beyond what you feel comfortable doing. If someone wants to go 80 and you only want to go 65, then you go 65 and you just make a plan to catch up with them at some point. But don't let, you know, friends and other riders kind of dictate how you ride yourself. Just be safe and do it your own pace. Take curves at your own pace. Just don't let people influence you on that. Riding in inclement weather like rain and snow, if you do that or you happen to get caught in it, you know, I've got caught in rain already once, and if you can and there are cars in front of you when it's raining, try to ride in their tire tracks. It's most slippery right after the rain starts, and because all the oils, you know, they're just starting to beat up and they haven't washed somewhat off the road yet, so use the tire tracks that the car's already displaced the water and try to ride in those. Those will be the driest and the safest for you. And obviously slow down. Slow down, slow down, slow down when it's raining. You don't want to be riding like you normally would on a hot pavement or hot road. And be very careful in turns. You know, the more you angle the bike, the less wheel you have on the ground, so to speak. And the traction kind of, depending on your tires, may be less on the edges than in, you know, straight up and down. So you definitely want to taking those curves slow. Make sure that you're not gonna slide, or give yourself the best chance to not slide. Snow, I would say, is very similar. You obviously have to look out for black ice and other things that you do with cars, which would be very dangerous on a two-wheeled motorcycle or two-wheeled bike. Other safety things: make sure that you are practicing using your turn signals. They put them on vehicles for a reason. Go ahead and use them, and make sure that you cancel them when you're done. Otherwise, it might trigger, you know, an incorrect thing to a driver that's looking at your turn signal. It's been on left for a while, and they think you're going left, and you don't go left. That just comes with practice. If you've never ridden before, is one of the things I had the hardest time getting used to, is canceling that signal. But it's important. I still catch myself not doing it sometimes, but especially when I make a turn and there's something I need to deal with as far as safety goes. And sometimes I'll just forget to push that button, but try to make it a habit of getting that thumb over there every time you make a turn, even if you didn't use it, which you should be. Another good tip is to, even if you're slowing down, tap your brakes. It lets the person know behind you that you are slowing down. It's kind of hard to judge a motorcycle, how fast it's coming at someone or coming away from someone. A little more than a car, in my opinion. So just give that indication that you actually are going to stop here. Don't trust that they're looking at any brake lights from cars ahead of you or anything like that. Just make sure that you're visible to them, because visibility is key, right? I've even done, using the 3 lanes I have in my own lane, I will swerve sometimes. I will just swerve back and forth if I feel like someone's not paying attention to me. Usually that'll get them to back off or slow down behind me. And that's okay. I'm not being unsafe. I'm just giving a little bit of visibility with the bike moving back and forth in their vision. And go along with what 4Wedge said, get good gear, all right? Armored pants, armored jacket. They even have these airbag vests you can buy now. Bug has one of those. I definitely would like to have one of those at some point. There's 2 types. One that's controlled by a computer chip that detects when you're moving the way you should, and it'll automatically deploy it, or there's kinds that you actually hook to the bike, and once that cord pulls, it inflates. You do have to have it sent back and inflated later, but I think it's like a CE level 2 pad. I think it's like 14 or 17 times better protection than one of those. So they do have a lot of protection. Get a good helmet. You want one with the DOT on the back of it. Department of Transportation certified. There are other ratings too, like Snell, and I'm missing a couple other ones that the European market uses. I think the 6D one I have is maybe Snell 2020. They do them periodically every few years or something like that, I think. And it's DOT, and I think there's another certification on it as well. So just get a good helmet. You don't want to get like a bike helmet. You want to get, I recommend a full face. They do have those modular helmets that you can flip up, so you could like drink something without having to take your helmet off. But I don't trust the locking mechanism on those, to be honest with you. If that would hit, your face would hit, would that actually hold, or would that, you know, eject back over your head and your face would be exposed? I don't know. Next is gloves. Get yourself some gloves. I see people riding scooters all the time. They don't wear gloves. That's going to be probably one of the first things that you hit the ground with, is your hands. And you definitely want some with some knuckle protection and palm protection and all those impact points. I personally wear gloves from IndyRidgeusa.com, I believe it is. I think I mentioned them before. I love their stuff. And also, you want to get boots. Get some good motorcycle boots. Don't get regular like Timberland boots or something like that. Because motorcycle boots, they have the armor in the ankles. They have a very firm heel. There's protection on the sides so that they can't be crushed if the bike would fall on you. Again, I have boots from Indy Ridge. I think, I forget the model mine are, but they're like the yellow sole with like a gray black. They're listed in my in the description anyway. But they're perforated, like kind of a meshy, not mesh, but they have holes in them, put it that way. And the wind does come through. It's much cooler in the summer. They have a couple different pairs that are like that, and then they have some regular ones. Now, most people would say, you know, don't wear laced boots on a motorcycle because the lacing can get caught, you know, and that is a factor. Don't get me wrong, but I think you can lace these up, and they actually ship them to you this way. They lace them up where the laces are actually tied behind the tongue of the boot, and so they're out of the way. I mean, I suppose it's, you know, potential to maybe get something underneath the other laces that are on the top of the boot, but I don't see that being a huge, maybe a huge thing. I don't know. Honestly, the only thing I've ever caught on this scooter, and of course I don't have a motorcycle, so I think I've caught on the scooter, is my pant leg. I was wearing a kind of a, not bell bottom, but you know, they were more flared pair of jeans one day, and I went to get off the bike and I caught it on the kickstand and pushed the kickstand down, shut the bike off, which was fine. I was parked, but so I tend to try to wear things that are a little more snug to the boot and go down over. Actually, I'm going to go this way. And if you're a person, I think I mentioned this before in another video, but count on a budget. Like, try to have a budget for gear. Like, it's just not a budget to buy the bike, but add $1,500 to $2,000 for gear on top of that. You know, I know motorcycles, they come with freedom, and everybody wants to ride around with their t-shirts and no helmet. And, you know, you do you, but that will never be me. They say that the thing of throwing yourself out of a moving car at 55 miles an hour, would the protection you have on help you or not? Would you feel comfortable doing that? If not, you don't have enough protection, right? Also, like forwards, I would suggest, you know, I was not against this at all, but I wasn't like, you know, excited to go put one on my helmet. But I would highly recommend, now that I've used it, get a tinted visor. It just takes the glare away. Any sun glare, it's like gone. Like, I don't know. I also don't feel like my face is getting burned off, because sometimes I think the clear visors kind of enhance the sun coming in, and sometimes I got done riding and I felt like my face got sunburnt like to death. Obviously, you wouldn't want to have your tinted visor on when it's cloudy and it's not sunny. With visibility, it kind of, you know, is an issue. Keep that in mind, but actually, but yeah, it definitely helps. And I was actually kind of surprised though, the 60 tinted visor did not have the tabs in it for a pin lock. Which maybe, I mean, on a hot day, you're not going to have that problem of fogging up, and that's what's, like, sunny day it's intended for. And I mean, I haven't had any issue with that without it in, but I took my pin lock out of my clear visor and intended to put it in here, and I got it off and I got it open and everything, and realized, oh crap, I can't even put it in here. So and apparently they do make tinted pin locks, at least from what I was reading. The pin lock I put in is a clear one, but it helps. It definitely helps on the clear, in the cold mornings, and your breath is steaming up the visor. What else would I say as far as gear goes? I think that's about it on gear, but just make sure you get high quality gear. That's all I can say. I'm gonna turn. I guess I'll talk about some things to look out for when you are riding, and some things I've actually come across myself. And I tend to ride, when I ride out of town, it's on 55 mile an hour, or we call them highways here in the United States. Sometimes they are houses right off those highways. And here in Ohio, a lot of people seem to just have stone driveways. And backing in and out of your driveway, guess what? It pulls those stones off your driveway and into the road, right? So my suggestion when you go by those is, one, slow down, be careful. And two, tend to stay towards the left of the 3 lanes, so more towards the middle line of the road. I got to honk at somebody. I thought they were going to back into me. So anyway, stay towards the left lane. And oh wait, I'm going this way. That's dead end. Okay. And you'll more than likely avoid the majority of those stones that are coming out, because those can be really slippery. Another thing is, don't ride on the painted lines on the road. Those tend to be a lot more slick, especially when wet. When you're going over railroad tracks, take them at a 45-degree angle at least. 90 is better, but and if you're going over some kind of grate, don't try to to swerve or anything. Go straight over the grate. Just always be looking. That's all I can say. ABL, I'll call it. Always be looking. Behind you, in front of you, to the sides of you, way out ahead of you. Oh, for beginning riders, the other thing I will mention that they tend to do a lot, and I did it like for the first probably half hour to an hour I was riding in my class, is you want to look down at the road. It's just something that you're instinctively want to do. You want to look down and you want to not look ahead of you. And the rule of thumb there will tell you is look where you want to go, including in turns. You're not looking down at the road when you turn, you're looking over. Basically think sticking your chin onto your shoulder, whatever shoulder that may be for the turn you're making. And stick it there and kind of just like this, just stick it there, and you're going to look to where you're going. I mean, don't, obviously you have a gradual turn, you're not going to automatically look completely to your left, but you get what I'm getting at. Just make sure that you're looking ahead, looking where you want to go. The other thing I would say is never ride in the blind spots of a car. I see a lot of people do that. So if you're coming up beside a car, you do not want to be like back behind to their left or to their right. Either drop back behind them further so they can see you, or pass them as quickly as you can. Definitely do not hang out in the blind spot. I mean, that goes for cars too. I mean, you're driving your car, but especially true for bikes that are a lot less visible. I would also highly suggest having your mechanic, or if you know how to do it yourself, put in a rear brake modulator. I put one of those in my bike, and basically what happens is you can preset it to, when you install it, you can preset it to how fast you want it to blink. And when you put your brakes on, your rear brake will blink. Like, it'll blink for a few like a second or two, or however you have it set, and then it'll go solid. And it's just kind of like that flashing, hey, I'm braking kind of notice to people behind you. I think that's definitely, honestly, I think it's something they should build into all the brake lights. But that's just my opinion. But I would definitely look into that. I think it's a good safety feature to have. Talk about riding in groups, I guess. I've only done that once so far, and that was my video on the the burger run, number 5, I did with the Vespa people. The Vespa Ohio group. But you want to ride staggered typically. Ride staggered, so the leader's usually up in the front on the left, in the left lane, and you are back about, they say a second, I say more than that, depending on your speed. You know, obviously that distance will change, but you want to be off to their right, basically. So in the right lane behind them about a few seconds, whatever you feel comfortable. And then the next person behind you is like kind of like the leader. They're up on the left behind you, and vice versa all the way down the line. So just gives you more room to maneuver, and you definitely don't want to be right beside someone, because if one, it's hard to see them, and two, it's what if you have to, you know, dodge something in the road, or who knows, slam on your brakes. It could even possibly, they could hit you from behind or from beside you, or who knows. It's just not good, in my opinion. As I mentioned earlier, give yourself space. Give yourself space to move and make decisions. Right? You want to leave that decision-making time as high as you can. That's the blind spot I was just talking about. When I was trying to get by them, I thought they were coming over. Yeah, I think I'm going to head back home. Just wanted to kind of get these things out there that I've been thinking about. I'm sure I missed something. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you think I'm wrong, or how you handle certain situations. Be more than interested to listen. Obviously, I'm a new rider. I'm not an expert, and I would love to hear from more experienced riders, and you know, be safe on your own. Don't take what I said in this video as any kind of law or what you should exactly do, right? Be safe and be smart and ride smart, and the goal is to get home at night, right? Go out, have fun, get back home, and do it again. All right, y'all, I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching and subscribing. To those of you that have, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Appreciate it. Catch y'all later. Bye.